What are my choices for my lifetime benefit?
Members select from 5 different options at retirement. The first and most common option selected is called the unmodified option. This option provides for the highest possible benefit for the member while providing for a 60% death benefit continuance for an eligible spouse or minor child. There are 2 ways a spouse will be considered eligible. If the date of marriage is at least 1 year prior to the date of retirement, the spouse is considered an eligible spouse for purposes of the continuance. An alternate provision in the law allows a spouse to qualify for a continuance if the spouse is at least age 55 at the time of the member's death and the marriage date is at least 2 years prior to the date of the member's death. In the absence of a qualified spouse, minor children are eligible to receive continuance payments until the age of 18, unless the requirements for full-time student status are met. Eligibility will continue through age 21 if an unmarried child is enrolled in a qualified educational institution on a full-time basis at the time of death. If the child marries or discontinues qualified student enrollment, the pension payments cease. The remaining options, 1 through 4, provide slightly different benefits and results in a reduction in the basic benefit paid to the member. Benefit option 1 replaces the 60% eligible spouse continuance with a lump sum payment provision. The member's accumulated contributions and interest, less the sum of the annuity portion of the pension payment disbursed to the retiree, are paid in a lump sum amount to the named beneficiary. Benefit option 2 replaces the 60% eligible spouse continuance with a 100% continuance to the named beneficiary. If the named beneficiary dies before the member, a new beneficiary may not be designated, and the reduced allowance to the member remains in place for the lifetime of the member. Benefit option 3 replaces the 60% eligible spouse continuance with a 50% continuance to the named beneficiary. If the named beneficiary dies before the member, a new beneficiary may not be designated, and the reduced allowance to the member remains in place for the lifetime of the member. Benefit option 4 replaces the 60% eligible spouse continuance with a continuance for multiple named beneficiaries. The benefits paid under this option must be calculated by TCERA's actuary and approved by the Board of Retirement prior to the member's retirement. No recalculations of the member's benefit or the benefit payable to the beneficiaries will take place if any one or more of the named beneficiaries dies before the member. No new named beneficiaries may be named, and the reduced allowance to the member remains in place for the lifetime of the member. Please note that options available for a non-member former spouse of a TCERA member who has the right to a separate retirement allowance are slightly different. If you require additional information regarding the options available to a non-member former spouse, please contact the retirement office. The selection of retirement options is very important and should be carefully considered before completing final retirement paperwork. The option elected is irrevocable. Once the member has retired and received the first pension payment, the option may not be changed. If you have any additional questions regarding retirement options, please contact the retirement office for assistance.